I foresee a review is going to happen.
Yeah, you're the one that turned the camera on there, genius.
Listen, just go with it, okay? I was bitten by a spider last night. What do you want from me?
Welcome to Cinefanatics. My name's Robert Adams.
I'm Chris Adams.
And we got a review, I guess.
No, this is a review.
Oh, we are review. Okay.
Yeah, it is a review.
For Madam Web.
My damn web.
Everyone is saying it like that, too. And there's a good reason why. Right off the bat, first things, before we dive into this is going to be one rare opportunity. We're going to talk about spoilers in this movie. For one simple reason, there's nothing really spoilery about this movie that changes any perception that you may have about this movie.
It's good guys versus bad guys. You know what's happening.
Yeah, there's no third act plot twist. There's no character reveal that's jaw-dropping that you very likely didn't know already.
We all know what's going on in this movie.
Adam Scott is playing Uncle Ben Parker back in 2003.
That's not a spoiler. It's not ruining the movie for you. Get over it.
So if you, for some reason, you want to ignore all judgment and all our experience watching movies and being able to guess this, don't watch this review. But otherwise, yeah, this isn't going to spoil anything for you. Trust us.
There might be some lines I'm not going to specify specifically or recreate, but that's about it.
They try regurgitating the great power, great responsibility crap. And
no, he's just going to go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
okay,
and it just, they did that and both of us in the theater were like, oh God.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was a fun moment for us. I don't think that's what the point of the movie was, but
let's actually get into the review proper here. So,
do you want to do some positive things first?
Everybody going into this movie has the idea that this was going to be a bad movie, and everybody coming out of this movie has the experienced, lived-in reality of knowing that this is a bad movie.
So I'm laughing about this, but I will say this is a movie that I believe does have the potential to be that kind of within the genre of The Room. It's a movie that we can look back, maybe under the influence of some kind of substance, and enjoy it for all of its flaws. Maybe. Who knows?
I want to say this. I said this in the car coming out. This is the most one of the movies of all time movie I've ever seen.
That is a correct statement.
It's the most that was certainly a movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was okay. We're gonna get into a little bit more.
We're gonna actually review the movie at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna actually get into the nitty gritty. This is just all entertainment at this point. The movie itself is not the worst comic book movie ever, and I do want to preface the entire review by saying that, even though we've already talked a little bit. It's not the worst comic book movie ever. The second Ghost Rider still does exist.
That was my immediate thought coming out of the theater is Spirit of Vengeance, still worse.
It's very clearly not the best comic book movie ever.
No.
I think nobody was thinking it was going to be. But I would actually say that it is definitely 100% on par with the first Ghost Rider in terms of how good of a movie it is. How good of a comic book movie it is.
Which is weird because I've seen the first Ghost Rider
it's
multiple
watchable.
times. It's watchable. There's some bad parts about it.
There's corny parts.
Wes Bentley's character Blackheart is just god awful.
Yeah.
Pun intended. But otherwise, the movie Nicolas Cage does a fine job here.
Are you reviewing Ghost Rider or are you
Madam
reviewing
Web
Madam Web?
review? We're going to review the Ghost Rider.
Where are you going with that? Just leave it at it's on par with Ghost Rider. There's corny moments and there it is. The dialogue isn't 100%. Your dialogue isn't 100%. ADHD over there.
I don't fish, so I don't know if this is actually coming across as I'm pulling at the
I think you did the real motion, which is good.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically this movie is about Cassandra Webb and how also, is that her name in the comics?
Yes.
That's so comic books are corny sometimes. You just gotta go with it and have fun with it, I guess. And how she basically comes into her own realizing that she has the power to see the future and then has to save the lives of these three girls who are being pursued by a bad guy who thinks that those three girls are going to kill him.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
That's it.
That's the movie.
Everything we see in the trailer, the one trailer that we got,
Literally the one trailer.
There's a reason why we only got one trailer. Once you see the movie, you're like, oh yeah, they really didn't need to show us or tease anything else. That was it right there.
Yeah.
The trailer.
That trailer actually covered everything you need to know about the movie before you go into it.
The thing that we see in the trailer of the three girls in their superhero costumes, that's it. That you saw the entirety of them in costume pretty much in the trailer.
Which is a bummer because the brief scenes that they do show in the movie, those were really cool.
Yeah, the costumes look good, especially Julia Carpenter. I know they changed her last name in the movie for some weird reason, but Sydney Sweeney's character, she looks good in her Spider-Woman costume.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the other two don't, but that's the one that I remember from my childhood more because the other two characters are more recent. I didn't read the comics with either of them, Maddie Franklin or Aranya.
Yeah.
So
all their costumes looked pretty good though, and the action that they did in them, like I was actually expecting those to show up in the third act, and nope, they don't. No, they don't show up in the third act. They're not in costumes in the third act, and that's kind of a big bummer. But part of it is because the central focus is Madam Web, is Dakota Johnson's character, Cassandra Webb, and what she can do. And she's kind of the main star of pretty much the entire movie, but really that third act, and it's her fight really at the end there.
I don't like the movie takes forever for her to develop her powers, for her to realize what her abilities are.
Yeah.
It's a long time. Like the movie is at least halfway over before she actually is able to do anything.
Before she does the proper digging and realizing
Yeah.
what happened with her mom and what happened with her and all
Also,
that.
they did this jump where she had to go back to like where her mom was working and doing studying of these spiders in Peru.
Where she died, yeah.
Yeah, so she had to jump back to Peru, which we did this like weird like Dark Knight Rises where he comes out of the prison and he's in Gotham all of a sudden. She does like this teleporting. She doesn't really teleport.
We don't need to see her on the plane.
But yeah, like she's in Peru now. She's back in New York, back in Peru. All
right. So the biggest place where I think this movie does falter, like keep in mind it is watchable, and in a bubble, the story is easily followable. It's moderately enjoyable.
Morbius was way worse. Way worse.
Where this movie does falter, though, is mostly the script. There's definitely editing issues for sure. There's action shots with the ambulance and everything that I was like, okay, I'm getting a headache. I'm getting dizzy.
The big third act one when they're on the street, like stuff's blowing up and cars are flipping. And you're like, wait, what am I looking at? Like that was not edited.
There are a few scenes where the camera is just cutting back and forth very rapidly. And it's like, whoa, pump the brakes a little bit. We don't need to do this.
Yeah.
But the main focus issue that I have with this movie, and I think you agree, is the script. The script is not great. It's not great, Bob. It's not great.
And we've got good actors. Like I don't think there's really any of the actors in this movie who that we are aware of that I would say is a bad actor.
Generally speaking, no.
Just them trying to force out these lines that you can tell that they're on the set sitting there like, really?
They're doing all they can with some of these lines.
What I gotta say?
Yeah. They're trying their hardest to put some like meat and bones and emotion behind some of these lines, and the script is just, it's not doing them justice.
Yeah.
Dakota Johnson, she is not the problem with the movie. She actually does a really good job with what she is given to say. She definitely did actually carry the movie, I would say.
Yeah. Just some of the stuff with this, like Adam Scott being Ben Parker, and then you've got Emma Roberts as Mary Parker, Peter Parker's mom. I don't know why they needed to be in there. They didn't. There doesn't need to be any connection to Spider-Man in this whatsoever. But it was very heavy-handed on making sure we were all aware this was the universe that Spider-Man is going to be born into.
It's somehow like Sony has this thing in their mind where they need to
trust their audience.
Still make sure that we know that they have the rights to Spider-Man, essentially. Even though Spider-Man is successfully forging his own path in the MCU, as he should, He's doing a fantastic job over in the MCU. Sony still needs to do this. Yeah, but we still do have the rights, and he exists here. And we're like, yeah, but does he really? Does he really exist there? And they're like, yeah. So Ben is here. And this is Mary. They exist here. So he exists here. And we're like, but I don't think he really exists there. And yeah, he does exist here. Was that bit annoying? Because
That's how it felt.
it's annoying. It's annoying.
Yeah. There was no reason to include anything having to do with Spider-Man or Peter Parker. Just
No, and every single one of these movies, and yeah, I am talking about the broader scope of what Sony's doing with the Spider-Man franchise right now. Every single one of these movies, they don't need to exist.
yeah.
Not a single one of them.
I could understand making a Morbius movie, but it doesn't need to be connected to Spider-Man. Morbius would have been a better character. Here I am reviewing the Morbius movie now. Morbius would have been a better character if you would have taken him off the Spider-Man leash, let him breathe and grow and be his own movie. Focus on him being the character to develop and not trying to figure out how we can have this extra character in the world of Spider-Man.
Likewise, Venom, I think, can stand on his own. I really would have preferred that they didn't.
Venom works because Venom, even in the comics, Venom has been his own comic book as separate from Spider-Man.
Even still, though, I think that the character just does better when it's introduced with Spider-Man.
For the way that
as a whole, it just does better when it's introduced with Spider-Man. So these Sony movies as a whole are not doing well. I'm actively not looking forward to Kraven, and I'm not really looking forward to Venom 3 either.
I liked the first two Venoms. I thought they were passable.
Yeah. The other problem with this movie, and when I say all the performances were, they did well as they were given. The bad guy, that performance was not up to par with me.
Ezekiel Sims,
and I want to be absolutely fair when talking about performances. If Dakota Johnson did well, we didn't have such a good performance on the other scope, on the other side of the coin.
I like the fact that they kept him barefoot, which is true to the character from the comics, but that's about all I feel like they got right with
last
him.
little positive.
Yeah. Poor Zosha Mamet was his assistant sitting at the desk, and she does nothing but sit at that desk the entire movie. You got Zosha Mamet in here, and you don't do anything with her.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, the relationship between Madam Web and the three girls was good, but again, for the most part, I think absolutely everybody other than Cassandra Webb and Madam Web and the bad guy are kind of sidelined for the most part. Yeah. Nobody else really gets anything really major to do, which is a sad thing because we know that Sydney Sweeney's star is on the rise right now.
Oh yeah,
and she doesn't have a whole lot to do in this movie.
Yeah, this was definitely a movie that was produced, filmed, created well before she actually took off. This is like maybe after the first season of Euphoria when someone's like, that Sydney Sweeney over there, she may be big one day.
She's got something.
Let's put her in our movie before she blows up and she's out of our price range.
Well, that Sydney Sweeney, she's got it.
Yeah.
What is it? I don't know, but she's got it.
Yeah. And now she's super popular.
And should be headlining a movie like this, not being sidelined in it.
Yeah. So that was weird. One positive thing, they don't play the stupid song from the trailer.
Thank God. I'm so glad I don't have that. Well, we've been talking about it, so I do have the song stuck in my head, but I don't have it stuck in my head because it's not in the movie whatsoever.
They also don't say the stupid line from the trailer that everyone just absolutely hated.
Yes, I've been calling that. The whole, he was working with my mother in the
studying
Amazon.
Spiders
studying
in
spiders
Amazon.
When she died, that line I've been saying from the trailer sounds like it is cut up from multiple different lines, and it absolutely 100% is. I feel proud of myself for calling that, but I think anybody probably could have called that.
Congrats, you could at least potentially get a job as a screenwriter at Sony. You'd probably actually help them out at this point. Dear Sony, if you would like a Kevin Feige, call me and then he can write the scripts.
I think the sad truth is that, no, I probably still couldn't get a job with them, and that's unfortunate. Anyway, I don't think we have anything. This review is kind of haphazard. The movie's haphazard.
We paid money to go see the movie, therefore we need to talk about it.
It's watchable. You can watch it. I definitely recommend, if you really absolutely want to see it, I definitely recommend just waiting and watching it at home.
Yeah.
As much as I say support the theater system and go see movies in the theater, that requires you to get in your car, go to the theater, take the time to go see a movie and all of that. And if you don't have that time, don't try to spend it on going to see this movie. Wait for a home release, because it's a movie. It exists.
Yeah. One last thing I did that I think that was kind of funny and a little bit cheeky is there's a moment where like she's trying to drive, I guess, like the ambulance, she's trying to drive something real quick and she's stuck behind a log truck.
This movie takes place in 2003, which was the same year that what movie came out?
Final Destination 2, that dealt with someone having a premonition, and it was all, the catalyst for that was a log truck.
It is true.
I love it.
Just like that, there's a bunch of references all across the movie letting us know that we are in 2003, whether it's a Beyonce album or some Mountain Dew Code Red or some of the song choices like Toxic from Britney Spears.
Yeah, that was weird.
We're in 2003, folks.
Like when we first get into 2003, they're playing Breakfast at Tiffany's, which was like 1994, 95, somewhere in there.
It was still popular.
Mid-90s. It was still popular, I get that. And then the movie has like other songs that don't seem to fit.
Yeah.
In like crucial areas of like action and stuff. And then of course the movie ends and they go straight into Dreams by the Cranberries, which I felt was kind of out of place.
I'm not complaining, honestly. Again, they didn't have the song from the trailer in the movie, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are we rating this?
Everyone's favorite moment.
We're talking about out of 10, right? Gosh, maybe a solid 3.5, 4. I think
really?
3.5, 3.
2. This movie's a 2.
I'll give it a 3.
Oh, you're being nice. Sony appreciates that. This movie's a 2. All right. So, based out of 10, yep.
Act like you guys didn't even think about your rating for it before you did the review, huh?
And we didn't. Just like they didn't think about the script before they made the movie. Fair enough. All right. So, that is our review. What did you think of the movie if you happened to spend some money on it that was probably hard earned? Let us know down below in the comments. While you're down there, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Again, that's how we're going to grow this channel.
Let us know what you thought about our review as well.
Yeah, you could do that also. So make sure you follow us on social media. We are at the Cinefanatics on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. You can follow me personally at RCA Reacts on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Letterboxd, and YouTube.com/@RCA Reacts.
And you can follow me at Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, as well as Twitch.tv/Chris Adams MLP.
Yep, that's going to do it. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video. Goodbye.
I got nothing clever for this one. That movie sucked it out of me.
Yep.